It's a beautiful, bright, sunny and colourful afternoon here in the Cotswolds, so I want to show you my favourite optical illusion. And it starts by making everything black and white. Then I need you to stare at this dot here. I need you to keep staring at the dot. Just keep looking at it. Unfortunately, there's not really a shortcut for this step. It just takes time for this to do its work. Keep staring. Just 5 more seconds. And keep staring at the dot. There. Does this image look like it's in colour? Well, it's not. Just let your eyes wander a bit and it evaporates. It's actually black and white. Let's do that one more time. This time it hopefully won't take quite so long for your eyes to adapt. 3, 2, 1. That's amazing, but how does it work? How does that brightly coloured mess trick your brain into seeing a black and white image as colour? It's all to do with a process called chromatic adaptation, or colour constancy. And that's the mechanism by which your eyes and brain work together to make sure that when you see an object, it always looks the same colour regardless of different kinds of light you might see it in. So if you were to look at a white bit of paper like this, your brain would understand that it was white, even if you saw it under very different kinds of light. So even if you walk into a room that's lit by very orange lighting, or you go into an office where everything's a little bit green, the paper doesn't look orange or green, it always looks pure white. Let's do an experiment. I've come here into the shade, and that means that I'm mainly lit by light from the sky. And that means that me and this paper have taken on a sort of bluish hue. In fact, if we sample a colour from this paper, you can see that it doesn't appear to be white at all, but it looks like a pale shade of blue. And I've waited until the sun's going down, so everything's bathed in this beautiful golden light. And that means if we take a sample from the paper, you can see it's not white, but a sort of pale shade of orange. I'm afraid I need you to stare at that dot again. This time, your eyes are accommodating to those 2 solid blocks of colour, corresponding to the different lighting in the 2 clips. Bluish for the one where I'm stood in the shade, and orangey for the sunset image. Just a few more seconds, and bang. So if you keep staring at that dot, you should notice that I and this paper are looking a lot less blue, and I look a lot less orange. But if you let your eyes wander from that dot, you can see that nothing's changed. We're just as blue and orange as before, but your brain was compensating because of those colours that we showed you. So this part of the visual system has a genuinely useful purpose, allowing you to tell the delicious red berries from the deadly blue ones, regardless of how the light changes throughout the day. It basically works by subtracting the colour of the light from the colour of the object you're looking at, meaning that you can see its true colour. But we can manipulate this system, we can trick it to make it see colours where there aren't any. You start with a colour image. Every colour has what's called a complementary colour, opposite it on the colour wheel. So we spin the colours in the image around. Then we make them more intense, just to make extra sure that we trick your eyes. Next, stick a dot on the image to help fix your gaze in one spot, and that's it. And now you understand what's happening as you stare at the dot. Different parts of your eye are adapting to different colours, as though this scene is lit by some very weird lighting. Like the orange sky at the top of the image, which is dialing down the sensitivity of your eye to orange, and by implication, dialing up its sensitivity to blue, which is the complementary colour. So when we switch out the image for a black and white one, the greys and whites in the image now look as though they're coloured, and what's actually just grey in the sky now looks bluish, because your eyes and brain together are subtracting that intense orange you were just staring at. This effect doesn't last long. It's very important that your eyes can rapidly adapt to changing lighting environments. And that means that once those bright colours disappear, your brain rapidly realises that image doesn't have any colours, it's just black and white. But I think that's part of the charm of this visual trick. It's so fleeting, and yet it allows us to see a little more clearly how the process of seeing works.